Welcome back to a wild selection from our Tempo Storm deck introduction series featuring Giants Hunter. Giants Hunter is a relatively new wild deck that focuses around the wild exclusive interaction of Naga Sea Witch, which was changed at the release of Knights of the Frozen Throne, that did not become incorporated into a meta deck until slightly prior to the mid Knights of the Frozen Throne card nerfs. Naga Sea Witch's interaction with cards that discount in cost used to always set the card value to 5, even if a discount occurred. Now, after the change, the discount occurs after the card has been set to 5. This interaction synergizes extremely well with Giants, as it is relatively easy to discount them 5 points, essentially getting 0 mana 8/8s with minimal conditions being met. The goal of this deck is to play Naga Sea Witch on turn 5 along with as many zero-cost Giants as possible. This Giants deck is arguably one of the most potent ways to take advantage of this interaction, creating a whole new archetype. Hunter, surprisingly, is one of the best classes to take advantage of this interaction, as it contains multiple tutor cards like Tracking, King's Elec, and Stitch Tracker to increase the likelihood of getting a turn 5 combo of Naga and Giants on board. It is extremely common and consistent for a typical turn 5 for Giants Hunter to have upwards of 21 attack and 21 health worth of stats played on board at once. Most decks run at least 6 to 8 Giants in their deck list. 2 copies of Mountain Giant are always run in the deck, as you control your own hand size, and by turn 5 will easily be able to get them out of your hand for free. Molten Giants are also very consistent in the deck, as you only need to take 5 damage for them to cost 0 mana. Sea Giants are also very common in this deck, as when you play Naga and other Giants, the board fills up quickly, discounting these minions rather easily. The last 2 Giants played, if they make the cut based on the meta, are the Clockwork Giants, as your opponent is likely to have cards in their hand around turn 5, unless they're an aggro deck. Arcane Giants and Frost Giants are typically too slow to take advantage of the discounted mana cost by turn 5, and therefore will typically not be run in the deck. Another interesting wrinkle of these decks are that they commonly run really expensive top-end cards, like Call of the Wild, Ragnaros, and Alexstrasza, as these cards only cost 5 when Naga is out. You can either combo them out on turn 10 with Naga, or if the Naga survives for a round, finish your opponent off with these cards. One of the things that you may recognize very early on while playing with this deck is that it absolutely preys on control and combo decks while being vulnerable to aggro decks. That's why most builds that you will find are teched with anti-aggro cards such as Doomsayer, Tar Creeper, anti-aggro Secrets, Deathstalker Rexar, or even the unstable Ghoul plus Toxic Arrow combo for a board clear. If the meta starts becoming less aggro heavy, like it is right now, you can improve the deck by adding in Cold Lights, Flares, Deadly Shots, and Bright-Eyed Scout, and yes, this card does work with Giants discounts. As for matchups, as mentioned earlier, this deck is extremely polarizing. It does extremely well against any type of slow deck, as there are only a few ways to retaliate to a board of Giants dropped on turn 5. The major clears consist of Light Bomb and Priest, Equality Consecrate and Paladin, which currently isn't in the meta, or Frost Nova and Doomsayer in Mage. However, on the flip side, the deck really suffers against anything that is aggressive or tempo-based, which can take the board early and kill you around turn 5 or 6. If you start seeing a more aggressive meta, it may be wise to put the Giants deck down and try another deck, as its win rate against aggro is quite poor. The strategy to play this deck is to draw Naga and win the game from a turn 5 combo. While this is a bit of a joke, the underlying premise is true. Mulligan for Naga, and then use your tutor effects like King's Elec and your trackers to try and get Naga. Once you have a Naga, start looking for Giants that will be discounted on turn 5 when you drop your Naga. In the matchups where you miss the Naga on turn 5, start trying to play out Giants as soon as you can, and pressure with whatever resources you have, stalling out until you can get out a Naga. If you happen to miss your turn 5 all-in combo, one of the best turn 10 plays is Naga plus Giants plus Lotheb, which essentially prohibits all but Shadow Reaper Anduin from clearing your board. While Giants Hunter is a deck with polarized matchups, at the moment it is primed to do well in a control meta, which just so happens to be the meta that we are currently in. The deck is so divisive that most games come down to 2 things: if your opponent can kill you before turn 6, or if your opponent can clear a board full of 8/8s on turn 6. If the answer is no to both of these things, then you win. In the current meta, this is very common and why Giants Hunter is a good go-to deck. As always, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and join the discussion in the comments below. Let us know what you would like us to cover in our next deck introduction, and finally, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to speed with all of Tempo Storm's Hearthstone news and content.